So the basic premise here, all right? So we've got the 6 of us. I will act as host where there is an even number, so there's always going to be an odd number of opinions. And we've got 8 matches of various kind of movie characters. The rules are if the characters are going to be in essentially a football-sized field, they cannot get any outside help. They cannot run away. There's no real time limit. And they can use weapons if the weapons are associated to the character. So, for example, Jason Voorhees could use a machete, but he couldn't use a machine gun, for example. And they can have up to 2 weapons per person. If they don't use weapons, like the American Werewolf in London, then they don't get weapons. And you do not have to kill the opponent. You simply have to incapacitate them. You could kill them if you really wanted to. So,
I think many of these characters would probably choose that option.
Right.
Leo, can you add in, sorry to interrupt you, can you add Matt in? He's waiting. He said, can you add me in?
Oh, shit, I've got too many people.
I have a question. Is there a limit on ammunition if they have a weapon? If they have a
yes, there is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just message Matt quickly.
Sorry, I'm going to finish my breakfast real quick.
Oh,
no worries.
So when you say that it's the limit is the football field, we'll have to make it clear to Kelly that it's soccer or American football.
So it should be roughly the same.
Well, I don't know. The American football stadiums are huge.
No, I think some soccer pitches are bigger. I think the biggest difference in the size is that we have a standardized size for American football, and I just learned watching Ted Lasso that there isn't a standardized size for soccer pitches. But I'm slightly more cultured than other Americans, so don't worry. I knew you meant soccer.
Oh, okay. Whereabouts in California are you from?
I'm from Oregon, but I live in Los Angeles now for acting.
All right.
Yeah, I'm reshooting a pilot that I've already reshot once, but that's coming up in a few weeks. So I'm putting together a staged reading of Taming of the Shrew as well.
Oh, cool.
Right, I'm going to try and upgrade so we can get Matt in then, so just bear with me. Upgrade now. Oh, I've got to put my card number in.
What's your card number, Leo?
you can read that out to us as you're
I shouldn't do this on the internet.
Say it out loud so that you're entering it correctly.
Yeah, no one's watching. Don't worry.
If it was PayPal, I'd be all over it. Right. Okay. Okay. Give me a second. Right, if you guys just want to introduce yourselves while I'm just messaging Matt, just tell everyone obviously about your channel, where they can find you, and then we'll get started.
Right, well, we go around in order, like from Ben to Aaron to Kelly to Andrew to me. The order we're on.
Or Leo, do you want to start? Or
No, you carry on. I've just got a message Matt, so you go ahead.
Well, I'm Ben, obviously, Blu-ray Ben. I got a channel on YouTube and living in Spain, and obviously love movies. And if you want to sort of sub to my channel, that'd be absolutely amazing.
Hi everybody, I'm Aaron from Screen Stars. You may recognize me from reviews on Geek Legion of Doom, but I've got my own channel as well, where I review movies, games, all that sort of stuff.
I'm Kelly. My channel is The Nerd Bite. There's a bunch of old content right now because I've been dealing with health issues, but hopefully there'll be new stuff. And I met Leo through there, so I'm excited to be here. I'm a huge nerd, so this is going to be fun.
We all are, I think.
I'm Andrew. My channel is Grumpy Andrew's Horror House, and I'm grumpy, and I talk about horror a lot. All sorts. The most recent video I put up was me ruminating over the way Bela Lugosi says the line, "I never drink wine."
Yeah.
So it's mostly movies, but it's often me rambling.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming you know me if it's on my channel already, so no introduction needed. All right, so we're going to start off.
Wait, Lisa hasn't.
Oh, you don't. Oh, dear God, Leo, honestly. I'm Lisa, Lisa Loves Channel. I used to do solely movies, but these days I do a lot of true crime and like creepy stuff. But I do like a weekly roundup of everything I've watched that week and whether I think it's good or bad. So I do like to get my movies in there somewhere.
Okie dokie. Right, so we're going to have our first fight. So this is the opening round, and the winner of each round will go on to the quarterfinals. And then you excuse my high-tech graphics here, but I can't display them on
Wow.
screen.
Hey.
So here we go. The first one is we've got Jason Voorhees versus the T-800 Terminator, which was the original Terminator from the original Schwarzenegger version. Now, as there is an even number of people, I'm just going to host. So, what do we think, people? And you in the audience, please give us your opinion. Who do you think will win out of these two, Terminator or Jason?
Terminator.
Try and obviously put points across to the panel to who would win. So, who would win out of that, guys?
Terminator, 100%.
I would probably go with the Terminator.
Yeah, me too.
I will with Terminator as well.
Because the Terminator could, like, you know, rip the arms and limbs off Jason and fling him to every corner of the football field. You know what I mean? I know Jason Voorhees is almost indestructible, but how is he going to hack away at a Terminator with a machete? It's not really going to do much, is it?
Get close. The other guy doesn't.
Also, the advanced computing system is no match for an undead brain. That's what I'm thinking.
Are we talking human Jason, zombie Jason, or Uber Jason?
Any version, basically.
But you don't have to kill him, you see? This is the clincher. You don't have to kill him.
Yeah.
Basically, once you take Jason's machete, he's useless, and the T-8000 is just, or 800, just be like...
Well, we're talking the prime version of each character. So Jason, it could be at his most powerful. So, you know, base it on that.
I don't have that kind of knowledge because, like, I have not seen any of the Friday the 13th movies yet. So I wouldn't say when he's most powerful, but to me that is immaterial. I think it's Terminator all the way.
Yeah, I agree.
So we've got... So we've... You don't have to agree, Andrew, if you... you know, if it's not about...
It pains me to do the dirty on Jason. I think he could take... I think he could take an awful pasting. I don't think it would be over in a second. But unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to give it to the T-800.
All right. So T-800 moves on. So pretty decisive victory for the Terminator in that case. Right. Okay. Fair mind. I've only got graphics for the first round, so I didn't know who was going to be the winner. This one to me was one of the most interesting matches. Creatures of the night, so to speak. You've got Batman versus the American Werewolf in London. If you're not familiar with any of these characters, peeps, just let me know and I'll try and give you some background. I'm sure you know, obviously, Batman.
And this is the Christian Bale Batman?
Yes, because he's probably the most well-known movie-wise, I would say.
Most angry.
And he's only allowed 2 weapons, is that right?
2 weapons, but it could be any weapons that are associated with him.
Well, now, if Adam West in the 60s had shark repellent on his utility belt, I'm sure Christian Bale will have werewolf repellent on his utility belt.
Well, also, he's like, if he could just trick the werewolf into eating chocolate, you're out.
Oh, it kills him, doesn't it? His dog, yeah, exactly. And is it a full moon? If it isn't a full moon, it's just a man.
So we are saying that this is going to be full werewolf mode, and obviously the American werewolf is quite a big werewolf in comparison. And what I will say with this matchup, and anything that if the werewolf wins, it doesn't matter if the werewolf bites Batman, as long as, you know, him turning into werewolf is immaterial. It's just about the initial fight, all right?
So does Batman know beforehand that he's going to be fighting an American werewolf in London?
You could only really getting those 2 weapons.
Well, I would give him like you know, one of them nets that he fires, like one of these indestructible type net things. He just wrap up the werewolf in a net, and that's it. Game over.
For the same reason.
I think this is a much more even match, and I think that this fight would go on quite a while, but it would be a game of Batman avoiding the werewolf until he could figure out how to ensnare him. And I still think it would go Batman.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like grappling hook over here, swing around, kick you in the face, like.
Yeah, the problem is that football field is completely open, so Batman can see him the whole time. So
I'm going to go full nerd on this one, I'm afraid. So we're talking Christian Bale's Batman, and at the start of the Dark Knight, he gets attacked by a couple of Doberman, and they get through his armor. He asks Alfred to make it dog-proof. If Doberman can bite him, I'm sorry, American Werewolf is going to tear him to pieces.
If he can catch it, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Batman uses like his batarang, his bat grappling hook to just avoid and tuck and roll until he's got him wound up. That's what I'm thinking, because he's got the utility belt.
It's the open arena, though, isn't it? If he can't sneak up on him, how's he going to kill him? If you're in an open arena,
he just waits for the werewolf to come to him, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the tuck and rolls, just a whole lot of like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, dodging, because Christian Bale's Batman in particular, is also trained as a ninja as well, which means apart from the stealth aspect, which doesn't apply here, there's a speed and tactical. There's speed and tactics and a lot of intelligence that goes into the way ninjas fight, which is why I think it would just be a game of Batman trying to avoid the werewolf until he figured out how to use the tools on him to incapacitate him. That's where I'm at.
No, I just think we would get.
And all he needs is a tranquilizer.
Yeah, but Batman does not. The werewolf has to be associated with Batman. You can't just have any random. You can have a batarang or something, but just saying you could have a tranquilizer is not necessarily related to Batman. All right,
but he doesn't kill though, does he?
No, he doesn't have to kill.
I would have a batarang and a bat lasso, and I think he could capture the werewolf at a distance before it reached him. So he's got something to chuck at the other thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't jump on him because Batman will see him coming.
Right.
And he's got the ninja
He's
thing.
going with Batman. Andrew's going with American Werewolf in London.
Yes,
Ben's suspiciously silent.
I'm with Batman.
You're Batman. Oh, that's 3 and 2.
Batman.
Okay. Batman.
Oh, Andrew's unhappy with this one.
He is living up to his name of Grumpy Andrew.
It's like one of my all-time favourite films, American Werewolf in London. It kills me. But should we read some of the comments out in the chat, Leo?
Absolutely.
The people that are on. The view with Drew's here. He's asking who our favourite superhero casting choice is, and which character we think Keanu Reeves is better, John Wick or Neo. Well, I'll answer that one. John Wick, all the way.
I'd agree.
Yeah, John Wick.
Yep, awesome. He's just like complete reincarnated himself. He like went to obscurity and does not much, and then he did John Wick, and he's massive again, I think.
I know that you can compare John Wick and Neo because they're such vastly different characters. John Wick has a whole history, and Neo is essentially just being born.
Yeah.
So like the drive behind, like, the whole point of the Matrix is Neo kind of learning himself, and the whole point of John Wick is that he knows exactly who he is. And can I cuss?
Go for it.
And fuck everybody
You're
for
now.
fucking with him. Fuck everybody for fucking with him. So that's, I think they're both really great performances, and I do think Keanu Reeves is underrated as an actor.
I love that. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Apart from in Dracula, that was abysmal. But
Yes.
we'll forget.
He'll also agree with that if you like.
Was he? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, if you look at
His English accent is amazing.
Oh, isn't it awful? Jesus.
And you may well see a John Wick appearance in a little bit later on in one of the matches. So we'll see how he does. And again, if any of you guys watching this want to chip in your thoughts about who would win in any of these matches, obviously try and kind of convince the panel here to maybe go one way or another. If it's maybe not the way you think it will go, use your knowledge of the characters to try and convince these guys who would win. Dario, nice to see you. Alex, nice to see you. Results may vary. Wonderful to see you all here. Greetings from Sweden. Very nice.
Ooh,
Sweden.
my favourite band in the world are from Sweden. Backyard Babies. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to come in.
ABBA.
Yeah, ABBA.
No, not ABBA. Gee. So Alex agrees with. I do like ABBA, but Backyard Babies all the way. Alex says Batman would win, and he loves Keanu as John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're going to move on to the next tournament, next match. And I'm going to hold this up so people can remember what it is. So we're looking Sub-Zero Now, he's had 2 movie appearances, obviously both in the 2 Mortal Kombat, well, actually 3 Mortal Kombat films, technically speaking. So we are talking the movie versions of Sub-Zero, but it could be from any movie. And then the Predator, obviously, again, from the original Predator film, let's say. So there you go. And these 2 actually were playable characters, I think, in Mortal Kombat, because the Predator was a secret character. There is precedent for these 2 fighting.
Well, I think this is the most difficult sort of matchup, definitely.
I concur.
It is. I kind of give the Predator the edge, I think, because of his stealth technology.
I think
but he can only see the heat seeking the body, and you can't see the coldness.
Very clever. Yeah,
Sub-Zero. You can't see him.
So Sub-Zero would be blind to
exactly.
Be blind to Sub. See, I'm not very sure with what Sub-Zero's powers are. The only
that's a really good point, man.
The wrong one.
But Predator does have, because he's more animalistic than humanoid, he does have heightened other senses that might enable him to detect Sub-Zero without the heat-seeking technology, such as hearing or smell or just a facial awareness.
But you don't remember the film Predator when he was trying to catch Schwarzenegger? As soon as he was covered in the mud and he was cold, you couldn't see him at all.
Yeah, but the mud also had a really distinct odor to it in the middle of the jungle, I would imagine.
Maybe.
So that, and if you're coated in it, that's all you're gonna smell. Because I think the Predator relies on the heat-seeking on this heat-seeking vision, but I'm not certain that's all that he has. Because of how he fought in other places in the jungle. Because we only see never looking at humans. But it's a jungle full of animals. So how did he?
We did see as well in Predator 2. He changed his sight frequencies so that he couldn't just see in that. In Predator 2, you see him change it. So
what does he change it to?
With the walk-in.
Again.
What
does he change it to? I don't know.
Well, there's a few in the scene in Predator 2 at the end of the film where there's Gary Busey's bad guys and they've camouflaged themselves and he can't see them. He changes the frequency of his helmet until he does see them, so they can obviously change from heat seeking to other stuff.
Oh, yeah,
which is what they did in the second film. They evolved it, didn't they, to show that. So he does have the ability to change what he can see, so it's not just.
Are we going with the original Predator though from the first movie, or anyone?
Yeah, are we going with? Is this peak?
I would say the original Predator, but it's not necessarily that he didn't have that technology.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, I think it has to be Sub-Zero then, because he just can't see him. How is he going to fight him?
Yeah, I guess Sub-Zero could just freeze the entire pitch, if he can't see it. He's like, fine.
I don't think Sub-Zero can freeze whole things, can he? He can freeze the floor a little bit, or
whatever his blast sort of hit.
So Predator has got obviously a shoulder-mounted laser cannon. Plus, he has either the disc. He can either have the disc or the spear thing. Sub-Zero is a ninja, and obviously he's got the claw bit as well. Predator. Sub-Zero is obviously a ninja, and he can create ice projectiles. Plus, create obviously an ice sword, like he did in the latest film.
They don't have actual body heat though. I know his weapons are all freeze and stuff. But is he not alive? Does he not have? My knowledge is terrible about Mortal Kombat.
But he can convert himself into ice, I think, surround himself.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you could say that Sub-Zero would definitely at least confuse the Predator's heat vision.
That's a really hard one then.
Well, in the most recent Mortal Kombat, there is a scene where Sub-Zero hand to the ground and it freezes a path up to his enemy, right? So that's what I was thinking of when I said freeze the pitch to get numbers on it.
I know that he can freeze the floor and then slide across it to get to his opponent.
Yeah. So if you can do that, then you could freeze the ground and send the crystals up to whatever's standing there, which would at least expose the Predator. Maybe if he only got his feet, hold him in place, and you could see where the feet were.
And then you can finish him off by freezing him.
He can fire ice blades out of his hands, can't he?
Yeah. Because it's not like American football where we have goalposts and stuff that the Predator could climb and attack from. They're all on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Danny Glover can beat the Predator, and Sub-Zero can beat Danny Glover. Sub-Zero wins.
You guys unanimous on Sub-Zero then?
Huh? Yeah, I think I've gone Sub-Zero.
Yeah, me too.
You've convinced me. I was going to go Predator, but I've changed my mind. So
I think
that's what it's all about. All right.
If it was anybody other than Sub-Zero, I would have gone for Predator as well, but he's just not going to be able to fight him. You can't see him.
Yeah.
So Alex says Sub-Zero can also create an ice decoy of himself.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
True.
Where my lack of knowledge of that movie comes in. I didn't know that.
And I think if the opponent touches the ice decoy, he freezes.
Right,
so the Predator, if he tried to kill the decoy, he would freeze.
Right, well then he's dead, isn't he?
Yep.
Results may vary. Shout out to Screen Stars. Thank you for enjoying my movie review blog. Daniel's super sexy movie reviews. He appreciates it. So love to Aaron there. Right, Kelly, this one's for you. We're talking America.
I know, I saw.
Fuck yeah. Right, sorry.
So you've got two American soldier heroes, whatever you want to say. You've got Captain America, of course, the say that's from the first Avengers kind of movie. And then Rambo from the Rambo movies. Is anyone not familiar with Rambo?
I'm familiar with him in that I know his name and that he fights in Vietnam, but I need to know more about his background.
Okay, so he is basically, obviously, we're taking him from his prime, prime kind of time. So he was essentially like a special ops in Vietnam. Obviously, very skilled. Essentially, took down the whole Russian army in Rambo 3, and is skilled with a variety of weapons. Now, he's got a bazooka here, which he could use potentially, but he also uses various machine guns, bow and arrow, that kind of stuff, a grenade, So you could pick two essentially military weapons.
Got it.
Captain America tends to use obviously the shield, which he does use to defend himself against gunfire.
And he does use a machine gun as well. We see him use it.
Yeah, he used a machine gun, yeah.
But that's about it. We never see him use a handgun or a sword or anything besides the shield that isn't a machine gun.
Okay, so Captain America is slightly augmented in regards to his physical abilities, but he's not like Spider-Man or anything like that. He's relatively like the peak of human physical fitness, or just slightly above, but not like mega superhuman, if that makes sense.
He's right. Parkour, not Parker.
Right, discuss. What do we think?
Yeah.
This is tough.
You would think it has to be. You would think it has to be Captain America because he almost beat Thanos, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
I know he had Thor's hammer, but
also that whatever Rambo throws at him, which is essentially all Rambo has, Rambo is going to exhaust his complete supply of ammo and weaponry. And all Cap has to do is duck behind the shield because it will absorb everything, which is what makes that shield so powerful. Because basically, what any projectile or impact thing that injures you, it's because of how it vibrates through your body, however imperceptibly. So once you even firing a bazooka at vibranium, if it absorbs all the vibration, it won't do anything. And then it's just hand to hand. And if we come down to hand, and Rambo just has like say a couple of like knives from his belt, and Cap still has the shield, is Captain America because he's still military trained. Remember,
he can strangle him with his bandana, can't he?
I mean, if he can get behind him. Captain America is also supposed to be like, I guess they're pretty evenly sized because Stallone is 6'1" and Cap is supposed to be 6'4". So
yeah, it's superhero.
Captain America is also 3 times.
Stallone wishes he was 6'1".
Is he only little? Oh, I didn't know that.
He's 5'10". He's Stallone.
Seriously, there you go. I didn't know that.
His IMDb lied to me. Yeah,
I would love this to go to Rambo. I would love it to go to Rambo, but I have to completely agree that it would be Captain America as much as it pains me.
I think if this was set in like a woodland area, so that he could use his survival techniques and hide, and he'd have a better chance because he could sneak up on Captain and cut his throat or something.
Yeah, and
but
also
in an open football field, he doesn't have a chance against Captain America.
No, yeah.
So Chris in the comments says Rambo, no problems, but why? Tell us why he would beat Captain America. And Banana Poop points out very importantly that Rambo has a mullet. Could this be
Right. Can we just? That's my husband, Banana Poop, by the way. So just be prepared for random comments. Like that.
There's also the body armor thing. If Captain America is in his suit and Rambo is in his traditional costume, which is just a bandana and a tank top, he's got no protection. Cap has a helmet. Cap has body armor, so he's protected beyond just having the shield as well.
No, and I repeat it, what I said before, Captain America is really fast. He runs 10 times faster than a human, so Rambo wouldn't be able to catch him at all.
Yeah,
no matter powers, doesn't it? He's not just human.
I'm going to throw some controversy in here. Cap wouldn't. He would refuse to fight an army veteran suffering from PTSD.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the only thing that goes against Cap. He's got some really high morals, hasn't he? But I suppose if he doesn't have a choice in the matter,
Rambo's got the same morals because he only fights people that to get revenge on them. I don't think he would fight Captain America either.
I don't think that they would try to kill each other. I think it would come down to incapacitating and probably just restraining if that's possible. But with the super soldier serum, it gives him nearly Hulk-like strength, as we've seen, which Rambo, with all his training, is just not something that he's going to have, plus the speed.
Maybe they would just shake hands and have a cup of tea and talk about old war stories.
Yeah, I'd be down for this to be a draw based on their morality.
We can't have a draw, so there has to be a winner. So if they have to fight, there is Cap, yeah?
Captain America.
Rambo.
I'm going to say Rambo without fear of him winning. I just think he's got the killer instinct.
You are the contrarian.
No, I'm not.
Right. Okay. So just a couple of comments before we move on. Alex says Cap has also dealt with Loki, Thanos, aliens. I think he would if it would be an attack. And Chris says Rambo is known for ripping throats out.
If Rambo could get to Cap and the speed,
he needs to get close enough to do that.
Yeah, he needs to get close and he can't.
Right, I think it's pretty decisive. So we're gonna move on to the gadgets, the gadget duo, and we're talking James Bond and Boba Fett.
Oh, come on, there's only one winner. It's James Bond all the way.
I would say that obviously we're talking to Daniel Craig, Boba Fett. And probably the film versions of.
I'm going to say if it's the Mandalorian version of Boba Fett, is in trouble, Bond. But Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi gets beaten by a blind man.
He's useless.
He's useless in Return of the Jedi. It's James Bond, no contest.
That is a good point. Yeah. So are we talking? So Leo, to you, which is peak Boba Fett, Mandalorian or
you could to be fair, you could pick. Whatever you think the peak of the character is.
If it's the Mandalorian one, James Bond's in trouble.
Right, based on I detest James Bond, I'm saying Boba Fett. James Bond's got a suit. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and Boba Fett's got a jetpack.
He's got like all
fly
the
and shoot him from above.
Oh God, James Bond bores me to tears, so he needs to die.
Well, he's not going to be James Bond for much longer. Spoiler alert: they're moving on to a black lady to be double.
I wanted to see Idris Elba.
Me too.
Oh, I don't think it's got. I know it's like off topic, but I don't think they should make it a woman.
No, me either.
No, and they say a woman or feminist, but no, we don't want to see James. I don't even like James Bond, but I wanted to see Idris Elba.
There's no reason to make James Bond a woman other than trying to infuse, trying to force feminism on things.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think it's James Bond they're making a woman. It's 007.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
James Bond is going to be 007, but you can have feminist men. Go figure. Anyway, I'm still going to go with. I'm still going to go with Boba Fett because, one, the character wasn't fleshed out in Return of the Jedi, but when he was attacked and beaten by a blind man, he was not in battle mode either. He was completely off guard, and that blind man was a Jedi. So he could see without seeing. So how much of
it was Han Solo.
Oh.
It was Han Solo, wasn't it, in Return of the Jedi? He was blind. He was literally blind. He hit him. with that thing, didn't he?
I am so desperately embarrassed for myself as a nerd because, yes, right, it is Han Solo. There is an argument though that Han Solo has Force capabilities that were never tapped into because he's the first one to say I have a bad feeling about this, and he's always right. There's just a whole lot that to suggest that the Force is with Han Solo, even if he doesn't know how to harness it.
I'll tell you, the Force is not with Boba Fett. He's a blundering fool.
Oh,
yeah. I agree. If it's the Boba Fett from the trilogy films, the early ones, it's James Bond for me. If we're going with the Mandalorian Boba Fett, which is the peak Boba Fett, then James Bond doesn't stand a
I'm just going to counter you. My vote won't count, but who is Boba Fett beaten in the series? Bunch of stormtroopers. Rob Kelly.
No spoilers, please.
You know, I don't think we've really seen a true test of Boba Fett on the
We lost Kelly.
Oh, she's gone sideways. Oh,
I'm here.
Right.
I'm here.
I think this is quite a difficult one because I'm
because
going to go with
also
Boba
limited
Fett.
to the tech they have on hand, right? And most of James Bond's best gadgets most of James Bond's rather dangerous gadgets, not his best ones. His best gadgets for incapacitating someone, he can't really wear on his person. Whereas all of Boba Fett's weapons are there, and especially if they're starting at a distance instead of like his 10 paces fire. I'm still gonna stick with Boba Fett, and then there's the armor factor again as well. No matter how much James Bond attacks him, he's covered in armor. That's best guard.
What if you put Bond in his Aston Martin?
No, can't.
No, you're not allowed the car.
Only the what they can carry, maximum of 2 weapons.
You've hobbled Bond then, because Daniel Craig is not a gadget heavy Bond. But I've only got 4 words to say. Ba-da-ba-da.
Oh wow, I was about to go Jurassic Park instead.
I've
got 6 words. Dun 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 dun. dun.
All right. So, does anyone say Bond? Andy. So that's 1 for Bond.
As Andy's it broke up a bit there.
1 for Bond.
Yeah. 1 for Bond and 4 for Boba Fett.
I think Andrew's just going against all of us every single battle.
I'm not having a good night.
Right. Let's have a quick catch up of the comments, if you would, Lisa, for me.
We've got going back to the last one. Alex said Cap has dealt with Loki, Thanos, and aliens. He always said that. Results may vary. 7. Your thoughts on Quentin Tarantino having thoughts about doing a First Blood remake?
I didn't.
I heard about that. I think Tarantino's a good person for that because Tarantino will not pull punches that may have been pulled because Tarantino has a career such that he's able to care less what a wide audience will think, and that's not the case with what.
And if he follows the book, it won't be one for Rambo fans because he's not portrayed very nicely in the book. I mean, he's not in the film either, really, but. He's not a heroic character in the book at all, is he, John Rambo, the first Blood book?
I think he dies as well, doesn't he, in the book?
It could be awesome.
And he does die.
Banana Poop, I doubt Fett would fall for a 3-piece, and he's written misogyny. What he meant to say was 3-piece suit. I don't know how misogyny came up there, no idea. Chris Young, is it Baba with the armor? Is that about Baby Yoda?
Boba Fett, I'm assuming he means.
Baba Fett.
And that's it. We're up to date with comments.
It's got Bond, but it has to be Connery.
Yeah, yes. We do like a bit of Sean Connery.
We need to get Chris Young in this to back me up on my votes. Chris and me are simpatico.
It sounds like it. Right, so let's go to that now.
Leo, is Matt not coming on?
I'm finally able to switch over my computer.
But Matt, if you can, put your opinions in the comments. He's still on there, but I can only add without upgrading it, which means I've got to put all my card details.
Right, okay.
So yeah, Matt, if you jump on the comments, obviously give us your.
I'm gonna leave here and join on my computer because my computer's finally ready, so I'll be able to see comments and stuff.
All right.
Okay,
So while we are doing that. So the next one is the bride from two Kill Bill movies and RoboCop. So these both had two decent movies at least. So who's going to win?
Like, first of all, I have to admit that I've never seen the RoboCop movies, so I don't know. I know it's half human, half robot, and he shoots a gun, but that's about it.
I think
so you have to fill me in.
He's that's more or less. I mean, he's just ultimately a. I think here, obviously, the RoboCop is probably tougher in regards to armor, stuff like that. But he has a gun, but he's relatively slow. And then obviously the bride, if you've seen the Kill Bill films, she's taken out like an entire room.
I think it's a morality thing here as well, but I think the edge goes to the bride in Kill Bill because she's so driven by the mother's vengeance that RoboCop does not stand a chance. It's like hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. I think we're in that situation.
There's an interesting comment just on that point from Alex that says it depends on the bride's incentive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you were saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
The incentive is to stay alive.
if we're going with, to me, peak bride is her fight with Lucy Liu. That's what I'm thinking is peak bride. And if she can look somebody in the face and slice the top of their head off, I don't think RoboCop has a chance.
And what about intelligence? Is RoboCop intelligent? Does he have the mind of a robot or a human?
Police officer, human police officer.
He's kind of like your everyday, everyman police officer. He's not like super special SWAT team police officer.
Right. Like
he's got the equivalent of a grenade launcher, though. That's what I'm thinking.
He's got.
He took down Ed 209, didn't he?
I would go with RoboCop personally, but
the only way
I know he's slower, but I mean a grenade launcher or what is it? An assault something? It's called. I've written it down. Cobra assault cannon. It can do an awful lot of damage.
I think I would probably lean towards RoboCop because they're in an open football field. There's very few places for her to hide, and he's got targeting systems. He can target, and we saw in the first RoboCop film he shot somebody between that woman's dress in somebody's private parts. So he's got pinpoint targeting. So how's she going to get close to the RoboCop before he shoots her with his targeting system?
I think this is a speed thing because he's got targeting, but even there's a reason RoboCop hasn't been rebooted. Like he's got the targeting systems of the early 90s, so however pinpointed they are, and all she has to do is get behind him. Once she's behind him, it's over.
But how does she beat him? I mean, Alex is like, I'm curious how she would beat him. He's made of metal. Are her like katanas? Like, do they cut through steel or?
No,
he's
really.
made of metal, but he has a human head. So if she can get like, say she gets behind him and she gets like a grapple hold on him, katana right down his throat, katana like somewhere in the places where you can see that he's human because he still has.
I would say in default of the bride, if you think about the Kill Bill films, they're not exactly realistic in regard to their physics and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got to base it on how she is in the film. So she's coming from a kind of a bit more of a hyper reality, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Where arguably she's a little bit superhuman without actually being superhuman, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
She's also trained as a samurai and a ninja as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
So she could
it's
easily
speed versus brute force and weapons, isn't it? Which wins, the speed and the nimbleness or the weapons?
She still can't take a shotgun load of salt to the chest. Floors
she
her.
Can't, but that's if he can get like he's got targeting systems, right? But unless they're heat-seeking systems,
you don't even need targeting systems. Someone with a gun can kill the bride if she's a football pitch away and coming towards you. Anyone with a gun can kill her. She can't take her. This heightened reality.
Do you remember the thing she's in by the end of part 2? Like she can take a beating.
She's got plot armor whereby people only fight her with swords. No one. The first person to go at her with a gun puts her in the ground. Literally.
All right. When you said about the targeting systems, Aaron, does that work with his like cannon assault grenade thing? Or
Probably because the targeting system isn't in his gun; it's in his helmet.
It's in his helmet. You see, I haven't seen RoboCop since I was like a kid. I'm going RoboCop.
Okay, so you've got Kelly with the Bride,
I'm still on the
Lisa
Bride.
with RoboCop, Andrew with RoboCop. Where do Aaron and Ben sit?
RoboCop.
Well, I'm going to go with the majority. I'm going to say RoboCop then, because
Fair enough. It is
Matt says RoboCop actually does beat a samurai ninja in RoboCop 3.
It's true.
I didn't know. I haven't seen RoboCop 3.
That was quite a juicy argument, though. I like that one. Okay, let's have a quick catch up with the old comments. Where are we? Lisa, if I can put you in comments, do you see?
Yeah. Alex says it depends on the bride's incentive. I'm pretty sure she'll be quick. I'm curious as to how she would beat him. He's metal. She's more breakable. Whoever's quickest, I guess. And he's going for RoboCop. We have
what we said.
Raiders told us that you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. That's true, but it's all about objective and what drives you. And I think what drives the bride will give her the edge over what drives RoboCop, because RoboCop would be fighting her because he's told to, and the bride is fighting for her life, and that makes a huge difference.
Right, next match. This is the matchup I've been looking forward to the most. And we're talking about two blade-wielding hard men. We are talking Michael Myers, Maximus Meridius Decimus, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, his revenge.
Oh, this is easy, this one.
Michael Myers. Whoa.
I'm going Maximus.
Yeah, I'd say Gladiator, easy.
Michael
Myers is so slow.
Yeah.
He's unstoppable.
He's unstoppable. All they have to do is put him down.
That are unprotected.
You don't have to kill
someone who's got a sword. You just can't do anything. He's only got a small knife, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got the shield and the sword.
Small is relative, and so he's got
Yeah. I think this is actually a tough one.
It's in great.
Behind that card there.
But a gladius is not a long sword. A gladius is a pretty short sword, and that's what he would be fighting with. Like the gladius. I mean, I guess we have to go with what's in the movies, but it's the question of like tortoise, and it's like a blitz attack versus a which would be Maximus, and then Michael Myers, who is just unstoppable, relentless, doesn't matter what you do to him. And I think that they would like, no matter how much Maximus kept pounding, the fact that Michael Myers keeps going, no matter how he's injured, it would be an endurance fight. And I think that's why Michael Myers would win.
All I'm thinking about right now is, and I kind of agree because he's almost invincible, Michael Myers, but do you remember that scene in Gladiator where he basically chops that guy's head off with them swords?
Yeah,
if he does that to Michael Myers, it's game over.
Well,
Michael Myers can't recover from a head chopped off.
Michael Myers is so slow.
Michael Myers actually does lose his head in one of the Halloween films, and still comes back.
But that would I would say that would count as incapacitating, even in the films that he comes back. To me, that would be incapacitating.
Doesn't Maximus cut him off with two swords like that, right?
Yeah, but he can have two swords.
He's got one here.
You can have one in each hand, or a shield and a sword. Either one thing in each hand. See, but Michael can be put down. He just keeps getting up again. But if he's put down, does that not count as being beaten?
If someone is defeated, so Maximus doesn't necessarily have to permanently kill, Michael Myers in like would be canon. But if he can soundly defeat him in this fight, he would win in the rules of this game.
Yeah,
I think it has to be Maximus then, because of his gladiator skills, his speed, his intelligence, and Michael Myers. If he would defeat him, but Michael Myers will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, more damage maybe.
Michael Myers can be the swap out, the replacement, the tag in, or whatever. It's I guess you're kind of convincing me, because I was sticking with the power that psychosis can have on the human brain. But when it does come down to speed, which is an argument I've made in several other of these fights, then yeah, if you're going with speed, then yeah, it would be Maximus, I guess.
No,
I mean, to be fair, Michael Myers was killed in Halloween Resurrection by a karate kick out of a window. So
He also had his head chopped off in one of the films, and he's
desperate to have an opinion and get in there. What you want to say?
Michael gets shot 6 times at the end of the first film and gets up for the same night and carries on killing.
Yeah.
Maximus gets gut stabbed by the Emperor at the end and dies.
That's true.
And bleeds out. Michael will kill him.
How long does Michael take to recover, though? He lay outside that window on the floor for a very long time. And without helping him beating.
We don't know how much of that is recovery and how much of that is Michael Myers being strategic so that people think he's dead. Because I think that we see that happen with Michael Myers more than almost any other slasher film, is that people think that he has died, but then he comes back. And why would it always take so long? And it always seems to take longer. And it's like, oh, he's not getting weaker. It's just he knows people have learned his trick, because he comes at you as though he were mindless, but it's clear, especially in the first film, that he's not mindless and he's coming from a very specific place.
And the problem we have here as well with Michael Myers is there's so many different versions of him, because as the series went on, they turned him into more of a supernatural being. If we're talking about the original Michael Myers from the first Halloween and the newer ones, which are shifts from that film, he's nowhere near as supernatural as the later incarnations of Michael Myers.
There's also the fact that he does move slowly, but that doesn't mean he has to move slowly. Like, part of his menace is that he moves so slowly. That doesn't mean that's the only way he can move, especially if we see him, if he gets up from, getting hit by a car and getting shot 6 times, and then 10 minutes later is across town. That implies that he does have the power to move very quickly.
So you're saying that if they had a battle in a football stadium, Michael Myers would all of a sudden become super fast like Captain America?
I don't know that he'd become super fast, but I think he would. I think we don't really ever see him in a fight with a skilled combatant. We're always seeing him pretty much attack unarmed people. I think if he were up against a skilled combatant, that he would take it, because then he would actually have something to fight over instead of just like chasing people that are running from him.
Well, again, he has to get close enough, doesn't he?
Yeah,
a gladiator can throw a sword at a distance.
Honestly,
but
I would love to say Michael Myers. I would love to say Michael Myers because I love Michael Myers, the character, and I love the films.
Say it then.
I can't see him. I can't see him beating Maximus.
But if Maximus throws a sword at Michael Myers isn't stopping. He's going to keep going.
I've got a feeling Lisa's going to be the deciding vote here. I'm feeling 2 very decisive opinions from the team of Andrew and Kelly, and then Ben and Aaron. And I've got a feeling, Lisa, you're the one that's kind of on the fence a little bit.
No, I'm not on the fence. Maximus all the way for me.
Yeah.
I need to read this comment from Matt. Maximus chops off Michael Myers' hand, disarms him, and stabs him to death with his own knife. His knife is his weakness.
Alex says, him being slow seems like a power play, like a false sense of security. He moves quickly in the scene where the lights go on and off in the new movie. Because the slow movement is a deliberate thing, not a restraint or a handicap. That's always the impression I got. So I'm sticking with Michael Myers. I'm back.
So we've got Kelly and Andrew with Michael, and the rest of you with Maximus, yeah?
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. So it's going to be Maximus. That was the fight that I was looking forward to be honest. So
if it was a fight to the death, it would have been Myers. But if it's not to the death, then I go Maximus.
Well, I still don't think that it would take. I mean, if you're going to go with that, like Maximus can be incapacitated by actually quite a bit less than Michael Myers can.
Michael Myers doesn't have the skill that Maximus has in a fight. Like, as you say, Michael Myers always fights victims, and it's usually women or like completely
teenagers. He goes up against a skilled gladiator like Maximus that's fought in wars and never lost a fight in a gladiator ring.
That's when
he
when you
wouldn't
get
lose.
the question of like a trained fighter versus a violently insane person, and that's when the violently insane will take out the skilled fighter because they're unpredictable.
I honestly can't see it.
Kelly and Andrew are going to be big friends after this. I can tell, right? Okay, right.
But that was the most difficult round so far. I think
that was the one I was looking forward to be honest. Right. I know Lisa has opinions on this one. Okay, so the final round of the first.
Well, you kind of made me think about that when I mentioned it, so I'm kind of swayed now.
Okay, right. So we are talking John Wick from the 3 John Wick movies and Elsa from Frozen, Disney's Frozen, who, if you're not familiar, is somewhat similar to Sub-Zero in regards to ice powers. Anyone not familiar with either of these two?
These are the two I know best, probably, as a pairing.
Yeah. For me, it's John Wick all the way. And for the reasons that I said to you earlier, Lisa, that Elsa is obviously very powerful, but she's a Disney character. She's very nice. She'd start singing and she'd just hesitate because she's not a killer.
Yeah.
So John Wick doesn't hesitate. He's a machine, and he would kill her, and he wouldn't even think twice about it.
He's a nice guy too, though, isn't he? He comes
he's
from
not a nice guy. He's not a nice guy.
Yes, I want to think he's a nice guy. Let me have
He's not a nice guy.
He'll defend the innocent, but if he's battled against somebody, if he's pit against someone, they're automatically his enemy, which means they're not innocent anymore. So
yeah, this is the one I've most difficulty with, because I thought Elsa would win everything in this, because I'm like, well, she can freeze entire towns in like a second. She can freeze entire football pitches and whoever's on it, and then that's it. It's done. But then you made me think, would she hesitate and allow the other person a chance to? So I'm like on the fence with this one. I'm going to listen to what everyone else says.
I think she would try to incapacitate him. I think that would be her goal. Like, I don't want to kill this man. I just want to incapacitate him. I don't want to be in a fight. I've been persecuted my whole life. Like, that's enough. Especially if we're going with Frozen 2, where she finds out who she really is, which would be peak Elsa. It's not in her nature. Banana, she didn't almost kill her sister. She wasn't aiming for her sister. Like, that was an accident. She was aiming for the person that broke her sister's heart. But John Wick, like, if Elsa would be going to incapacitate, and as soon as he saw that coming or was trying to be incapacitated, he'd just be like, well, gun pop. That's where I'm at with John Wick.
Yeah, he has
it's the hesitating that'll kill her.
Yep.
Because John Wick wouldn't hesitate for a second. She's dead. It'd just kill her in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, but maybe she would hesitate to attack him, but if she sees that he's attacking her, she could put up an ice wall and stop the bullet.
But it should be dead. As soon as she hesitated, that's it. She's dead.
Her ice wall is not going to outrun a bullet. If they're from across the field and John Wick just goes John Wick and pulls out his gun and starts firing until he gets close enough. Plus, a bullet can shatter ice if it's thin enough, and she won't be able to throw up ice in time to outstrip a bullet. Basically, John Wick's firing a shot within the first half second of this battle, and that's what's going to kill Elsa.
I mean, John Wick, his sheer will alone would kill many of the people on this list, because you watch him in the films, he gets beaten, he gets battered, he gets broken, and he just keeps going. He's a machine. He just does not stop. He's like a human Terminator. I just can't see Elsa taking him out because of the fact that she's a Disney character. She's far too nice. She's probably start breaking into song, and she's dead.
Can I read Matt's comment, and then other people that can answer it that know a bit better? He has said, Elsa's one of the most powerful characters in all movie fiction. Literally builds a castle in 5 seconds. She is an elemental. My son and I discussed how Elsa is probably one of the most powerful characters ever. She literally... He certain taps her sister. Does he mean traps?
No, he means like she touches her. Just taps her.
Taps her sister with magic and nearly kills her. Elsa wins trying to protect herself. So he would say Elsa. I'm really torn.
She's an elemental, but she's not invincible. Like we actually never. This is another thing where we always see John Wick fighting, but we never see Elsa. We never see Elsa in a battle against somebody that is trying to fight her.
What's her weakness, though? What is Elsa's weakness?
We only see her in a defense.
She's too nice.
Weakness is that she's still essentially in a human body, and her morality and stance, because she's actually a figure of light and life, that she's an elemental of water and ice in option to balance out. So she's a figure to restore balance.
She's basically a wizard with a wand. Think Harry Potter. Would Harry Potter stand a chance against John Wick? Not a chance. He'd be dead in 10 seconds
Harry
flat.
Potter would kill. And also, by the time Harry Potter tried to say something, he would be dead. She flinches and everyone dies, but that's only until she learns how to control it. And I would say that she's not at her peak until she knows how to control her magic.
Banana Pips almost killed her sister without trying. Plus, John Wick wears dress shoes. They're naff on the ice.
I like drawing. He could rub her out.
She's a drawing. He could rub her out. It's really difficult. I'm so torn with this one.
I mean, I don't think that it would.
What about the people in the comments? What do you think? Who would win?
Matt says her magic is instinctive. She flinches and everyone dies. She gets an awesome dress and skates great.
Yeah.
But how many people has she killed?
She's more powerful, and she's more powerful once she has control of her magic. Because
has she actually killed anybody? I've not seen the Frozen film, so I don't know. But has she actually killed anybody?
Not in the.
Has she got the capability of killing somebody?
Yes, she's got the capability to do it, but I don't think she's actually done it, has she?
I think if we decide,
how many people has John Wick killed? He's killed so many people. You know what I mean? He's killed more people than COVID, probably. You know what I mean? It's
like a moot point.
Controversial.
It would be like Indy. It would be. This is a Raiders of the Lost thing, Raiders of the Lost Ark thing, because it would be like Indy. Except the second they say, all right, go, John Wick's pulling out a gun and fire and shooting her in the head, period. No hesitation.
I think this is a really important decision, because if we decide that Elsa beats John Wick because of her, she's all powerful, she's going to beat everyone.
Yeah.
So if we decide now that Elsa wins, she wins the competition.
I said that at the start. I can't see how anyone else is going to beat Elsa. I did say that. So and then you got me like thinking,
Sub-Zero that basically has the same set of powers.
Not
the same. She can freeze everything in a second, and he can only freeze things sort of like on the floor. And
let's vote.
Oh God, I'm
right.
I'm going to say Elsa.
John Wick.
Elsa.
John Wick.
John Wick. Kelly.
John Wick.
Andy.
Elsa is the most powered individual in this entire tournament. If she were a Disney villain, she'd be winning the tournament.
Fun fact, she was supposed to be, but then people identified too much with Let It Go, so they changed it.
John Wick's going to kill her, I'm afraid.
It's up to you, Lisa.
What have you voted so far? How many have we got for each?
It's three John Wicks.
It's 3 against me.
Three John Wicks, but just for shits and giggles.
John Wick. I would have went with Elsa, to be honest, but there we go. And I wouldn't have wanted to, but I would have done.
There you go.
That was
gets it. Right.
Andrew,
you won one. Yes.
Right, so that means we're on to the quarterfinals. I don't want to have any graphics because I obviously printed out, but maybe I can fold some paper. We won't worry about that. So we go to the next round, and it is the Terminator T800 versus the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good matchup.
That's a good film.
That's a film I want to watch.
There may well be precedents of Batman fighting Terminators in the comics.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that, so I can't use that.
I'm not quite sure of. I know he's been about Predator, but I'm not sure about Terminator, to be honest. So, what do we think? T800 from original Terminator versus the Christian Bale Batman.
I'm going to lean towards Batman on this one because of training and available weaponry. Because since Bruce Wayne is so rich, we know that he's going to have like titanium weaponry and non-ferrous things that aren't magnetic. And if especially if we're going with the T800 as you pictured him, which is just the metal endoskeleton, then he's he's pretty limited with regards to what he can do because he's not the T-1000 that can change his shape and create all sorts of weapons himself.
I'm leaning towards Batman because he's probably got an EMP weapon in his utility belt.
Oh yeah,
he's got an EMP gun in the Nolan movies.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Batman. It just fire off an EMP and that's it. Terminator's powered down, isn't it?
And even if he didn't have that, all he has to do is press a button to call his jet, his bike.
Can't use that.
Can't have that. It has to be just what he can carry.
Well, I'm saying he's carrying on him the remote to call those things.
That's cheating.
But the T-800 has a minigun.
I still say Batman for the same reason Aaron does.
What? Can someone tell me what that is? You said he'd be carrying an what?
EMP gun, electric magnetic pulse. So you fire it off, and in a certain radius, anything electrical shuts down.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So T-800 is electrical, isn't it?
Yeah, because
he's nuclear.
Oh right.
Is he?
He's got a nuclear core,
like Iron Man.
So it might shut down his CPU, but it wouldn't which would effectively incapacitate him, right? Even if he's back up.
I think it would give Batman enough time he would have his EMP gun and a screwdriver, and I think to pull the casing off and get the nuclear cell out of the town. I think Batman would win.
But remember that the T-800 has the minigun.
True enough. I mean,
that's a hell of a weapon that could just start firing off everywhere and kill Batman.
But Batman's suit is made of Kevlar.
Oh, but it's a minigun,
but that would give him enough. I'm not saying it wouldn't injure him, but I think that would give Batman enough time to get off the EMP round and then not dismantle him, but do enough.
He hasn't got Kevlar on his mouth.
Matt says the minigun wouldn't work with an EMP pulse. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about that.
He would know immediately, probably Batman, because of his intelligence, and he's probably because he's seen the Terminator in the previous round, maybe. But he would know that it's a machine. And as soon as it started, he'd just fire off his EMP.
Mm-hmm.
But what distance does the EMP have?
Well, they can be miles. You'd set it off, and it could be a 5-mile radius. It depends on the power of it, really.
And even if it's not, he could still get close enough. Matt said that miniguns are battery powered, so the EMP would shut it down. So even if they started, say, on either end of the pitch and started coming towards each other, even with a short range on the EMP, I think Batman would still be up enough because of his armor to fire off the EMP and use the time that the Terminator was rebooting to dismantle, crush, something like that. I mean, probably not crush because it's just him, but I think he would be incapacitated long enough to call it a Batman for the win.
You've convinced me.
Yeah, you've convinced me as well. I wasn't sure about that one, but I didn't know about it.
Only because of the EMP.
I think if it was the T-1000, then it'd be a different story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Read through some comments we've got here, so we don't. Well, the last one was about Elsa would incapacitate John Wick. He would play dead and come back with his own wand, Graphite 2B. Am I not getting a joke there?
Graphite is a gun, I imagine.
It's a pencil. John Wick kills people with a pencil.
Elsa was made in computers.
Chris says Terminator, he won't stop. Lewis.
Well, he will if he gets hit with an EMP.
Terminator.
EMP.
Hang on. This is it. Lewis says Terminators are probably EMP shielded.
There's
nothing
possibility, but there's nothing to suggest that in any of the Terminator